Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. This will be my first video. Hopefully it goes okay. Today I'm just going to share with you my basic routine for work. It's not that difficult. It is just what I wear every single day. And let's get into it. I hope you enjoy it. Alright, so I already put my hair back and I've already prepped my skin. I typically don't use a primer when I use my CC cream because it already fills in my pores and it does everything that I want it to do, so I don't feel the need for the extra layer. The only thing that I do use is the Clinique Pep Start for underneath my eyes, and I just take a little bit and I rub it in. And I do this because my under eyes typically are really dry, but I find that this helps my concealer that I will be putting on in a minute just lay better. And then the next thing I do is I will either use my beauty blender or I'll use my hands. It just depends on what kind of mood I'm in, and typically I will just use my beauty blender because I have really long nails and I hate getting this stuff underneath my nails and having to clean it out. So all I do is I just squirt a little bit on the beauty blender, just like that. And I'm using the Super Goop CC Cream, and I think it's fair or light, or fair/light, and it has an SPF of 40. It doesn't have that many, it doesn't have much of a shade range. I think it only has like 3 or 4, but I do really like it, and it's something that I use every single day. I do put it over my Tarte Guard sunscreen. Sometimes if I'm feeling lazy, I don't. So it just depends on how I'm feeling that day and whether or not I'm going to be out a lot. So I just kind of dot it around my face, trying to avoid my eyebrows, and I just put it on. It doesn't have too much coverage, but typically speaking on an everyday, I'm not looking for a lot of coverage. I'm just looking for something that evens out my skin tone and fills in my pores, and this pretty much does both. I do get fuller coverage with my powders that I put on top to set it into place, and I do feel like it doesn't need to be set, but if you have oily skin, I would recommend setting it. But I pretty much just pounce the beauty blender around my skin until I get it blended in. And sorry if I'm looking over here, but like, I wear glasses typically, and so I have my mirror set up over here so I can see. So, and I just pounce it in until it is all good and blended, but like, the coverage is really minimal. You can still see redness through it and everything else, but I don't really mind that, mainly because when I do put on concealer and stuff, I do put it on underneath my eyes, and I do put it on my chin to cover up everything else that I want covered. It's really hard not to look at the viewfinder to make sure that you're in focus. I'm sure that will just come with time. But yeah, and I just get it down my neck and on my double chin. And that's the start. And I don't really have too big of pores. I did, but they've been really well lately, but it just kind of fills them in, and it just makes your skin look smooth. And I'm going to zoom you guys back out so I can do my next step. So the next step I usually do is concealer. My favorite concealer is the Maybelline Age Rewind, and I'm sure that's on a lot of people's list. I use the fair shade. And I don't really use this underneath my eyes as much. I do on occasion when I'm feeling lazy and I just want really light coverage. But the main place that I put it is I just put it on my chin, and I pretty much just swipe it on like that. And then just like little areas on my face where I have redness or minor bumps. It doesn't cover them completely, but it does help. And it blends in really, really quickly, which is why I like it, and it doesn't showcase like my dry skin. Just so you guys know, I do have dry to combination skin. Most of the time it's pretty regular, it's just, I get a little oily through here, but I'm also I get dry and flaky through here as well. So it's kind of interesting. And I know my skin has been pretty dehydrated lately. We've gone from hot to cold and here in Ohio, and you never know what it's going to be like, and it's just been kind of crazy. And I'm sorry if you're hearing my dog snoring in the background. He's sleeping. He comes with me and hangs out with me wherever I go. So you will probably see him in most of my videos from now on. And then, as like most YouTubers, I love the Tarte Shape Tape. It is my favorite concealer for underneath the eyes. I don't use it too much around the face. Sometimes I do, but I do use it in fair for highlighting purposes. I am quite pale, so I dot this underneath my eyes. I don't use a lot. I don't put a lot. Sometimes I'll put it on my forehead and a little bit on the tip of my nose and maybe a little bit on my chin just to highlight. I don't use a lot of it because I don't feel like I need a lot of it for day-to-day wear. And like I said, like for me, I don't try to cover up everything on my face. If I have a bump, like I have these two right here, which they're not raised, they're flat, but they're scars from previous breakouts, and I don't really try to cover them up because I find that if I try to cover them up, I just end up looking really, really cakey, and it just makes another issue that is more apparent rather than just leaving them, having them light coverage, and just going over them, and hopefully people just don't notice them as much. And that's typically my game plan when it comes to anything where I have a breakout. I typically don't have too many breakouts, but it just depends. Depends on the time of the month, or if I'm really stressed out, or I just haven't been taking care of my skin like I should be. And I just kind of gently roll it over my eye. I'm typically on a day-to-day basis, I do not wear an eye primer. I'm kind of too lazy for that step, and to be honest, most of the time I just simply forget about it because it's never been a part of my routine. I've always just put concealer up there on my eye, and I don't know, I forget. The next step is I set my face. I use the HD powder by City Color. It's a translucent powder. It's 100% silica. It is quite powdery. It puffs up. But it's one of the few powders that I find that doesn't look cakey on my skin, and it really does a good job of hiding pores. Now, you don't want to use this when it comes to flash photography or anything like that. I do really like the It Cosmetics powder, by Pores powder. I use that on occasion, and I pretty much just let that sit, and I'm done with the Beauty Blender. So I typically take my Wet n Wild color icon and Reserve Your Cabana, and I will swirl my brush in that. And then my other Holy Grail product, with which they have discontinued this. I can still find it on places like eBay or Poshmark, and I've already ordered like a couple of backups of it because it is my favorite powder to set my face with. It's very light. It adds just a tiny bit of coverage, and with the Wet n Wild color icon bronzer, I just find that it gives me a really nice finish that I really like. And I'll just take that and I'll pretty much just buff it all over my face. And while doing that, I will also, I don't let my face bake too long, and I am in my robe, so I don't ever get ready with clothes on because I just find that I just look like a mess afterwards, and so I don't ever get ready with clothes on. But I just buff it all around. The next things that I typically do is I typically go in with contour and bronzer. So like the contour powder that I'm using right now is actually the Double Duty Beauty by Tarte. And I'm using it on my Charlotte Tilbury powder and sculpt brush. It's an okay brush. I do really like it. When you first get it, it's quite scratchy, and if you don't wash it properly or have something to reshape it, it loses its shape as you wash it. But I do actually quite like it for contour and blending it out. I find that after you wash it, you do need to rehydrate the bristles, which I do that with just like aloe vera. I pretty much soak it. If you guys want to know more about that, I can always make a video about how I take care of my more natural hair bristles, natural hair bristle brushes. And I always get underneath my chin right here because I do have excess skin from losing weight. So it's not that bad anymore. It's kind of shrunk down a little bit, but I do like to contour this area. Probably one of the things that I don't like to leave the house without is contour and eyebrows. I did have my eyebrows microbladed, so I won't really need to do too much in the video today for those. I used to spend like 20 minutes just on my eyebrows. If I'm feeling extra, I will put a little bit of contour right here. Sorry, I gotta look at my mirror. And I'll do it underneath the lip. And once again, if it's a little too harsh, you can go in and blend it out a little bit. I typically do. I do my nose just a little bit. Not too much. And this is just like a random brush I got off eBay. I typically like the brushes that are more slanted like this for like my contour, my underneath my my nose contour, my lip, doing it underneath my lip and everything, because it's small, it's fluffy, and it just kind of blends it out, I feel, nicely. So I just kind of do that. I do put a little bit underneath and a little bit over. So now I'm going to move on to bronzer. Bronzer is my next thing, and this is Stila bronzer. I haven't seen very many people talk about this bronzer. It's probably my favorite bronzer, and even in the medium shade, it's just really nice. Pretty sure I left off at bronzer. I had to go clean my contact out. It's like really bothering me since I got powder in it. But I am going to use the Stila bronzer on my face to bronze it, and with my Wayne Goss, the holiday brush. And I just apply this really gently to the perimeters of my face. I have a pretty small forehead, so I just bronze it up just to kind of make it match the rest of my face. I don't contour up there or anything because, like I said, I have a small forehead. So, and I do bring this down my neck as well, just the extra. And I don't use a lot. Like I said, I am quite pale, and so I don't feel the need to. I also use the same brush for my blush most of the time. A lot of times I'll use my other Wayne Goss brushes too, but this one works fine when I'm, you know, doing the everyday routine, trying to get ready for work. This one works really well. And I'm just using Luminoso from Milani. It's my favorite drugstore blush. I do like a lot of the Wet n Wild ones, but I really like this one from Milani. And I also bring that up down my nose. And then for highlight, this is my favorite highlight. It's from Essence, and it's Be My Highlight. Usually I'll put it just a little bit on the tip, and then it's just a nice lit from within glow. I do put it on my chin because I do like a little bit of glow, and I just use my fingers for this part. I do put it on with a brush everywhere else. I don't always put it on my lip because I don't feel like it stays, so, but And I don't know if the camera is picking it up at all because of the lighting. I am doing natural lighting. I don't have a ring light or anything at this point, like, because why, when you can just do it this way at first just to see how you're gonna go with things, you know? But, I mean, you can see it does... Is that just my mirror? It does have a decent luminosity to it. And as far as my eyebrows go, I usually like to do them. And I just take the IT Cosmetics or just some kind of, any more these days, I just use it for a spoolie and just more to blend my brows. I pretty much just take a... there's very little on the brush. I don't really need, like I said, a lot. It's more just to get the color to match my hair a little bit better. Like right now they're just too dark. I do use the Anastasia brow gel. It's alright. It's not my favorite, but it's alright. And I just flick that through it really quick to set them into place. Have you guys tried like the soap brow? Because I'm kind of curious. So like, if you have, like, let me know down below how that's worked out, because I am really curious about that. They're alright. I'm not supposed to be wearing too much product in them right now because they're healed, but they need a little bit more healing before I can go and like perfect them. I typically use like a setting spray, and the one that I've been using lately is the L'Oreal Infallible. As you guys know, it helps, you know, kind of get rid of the powdery look, and then I just fan it really quickly. And look how cool this is. It's like an old-fashioned catalog from Sears, like a page, and you could like order all these dresses. They're so cool. Like, I got it from the local antique store here, and we're really good friends with them, and they're just awesome. But I saw it and I was like, yeah, I'll pay $1 for that. But I just fan my face. It doesn't take long to dry it when you're fanning your face. And I do that before mascara because I don't know how these other people on YouTube do it, where they put on their mascara, their eyeliner, and then they drench their face. Like, I've done that once or twice, and I just have black mascara running all over my face afterwards, and I'm just like, why did I do that? But, so I do it. I spray my face before. For eyeshadow, my most grabbed for palette is the Vise Art. Is it Vise Art or Vise Art? But the Vise Art and Minx. I do use mostly the mattes. I don't often use the shimmers during the day. Or I do often use the mattes, and I don't often go for the shimmers during the day. Just because. And the two brushes that I use every single day are my Wayne Goss. Let's see, which ones are these? The number 6 and the number 4. So this one's the number 6. It's kind of like a 217 from MAC. And this one is just the 04. And both of these are my favorite. I can do the whole eye look with these two because it's pretty basic. It's just picking up the product and dusting it all over the eye. And then I go into, so that was that color. And then I go into the second shade, and I pretty much just pick it up with my brush and do the same thing. And these blend really nicely. Even if you pick up too much, I pretty much you just keep blending and they'll eventually blend out. I don't find that I have too much fallout. Sometimes I'll just stop right here, and this is pretty much my eye look for the day. It just adds some definition and some color back on my lids. I don't really need too much. I mean, I'm just going to work. And where I work, I can, you know, I can go all out and be glam. I do work in a fashion. So it just depends on how you're feeling, what you feel like. But most of the time, this eye sags a little bit more. So I have a little bit harder of a time doing this eye most of the time. Just because I find that it does sag a little bit more, so I get like more frustrated with it, I guess. It keeps getting blurry. Where's the sweet spot for this camera? Who knows? And if I find that I want it to be blown out more and I'm just not getting there, I do take some of that lighter shade that I went all over with originally and I just blend it until I get there. And this isn't a precise look. It's not a, you know, anything great or really takes skill. And I do run just a little bit underneath. And then a lot of times I will go over it with the other brush and just kind of blend it out more with it being clean. I just took a little bit of the darker shade right there. Just a little tap because these are really pigmented. And I'm just going to swirl it in the inner corner right there. And that's pretty much my eye look. Minus mascara, and that's all I do. Like, it's really simple, and I do think it's pretty work appropriate. I will curl my lashes. I don't always curl my lashes. I do sometimes. And then it's mascara. We're gonna try this one today. I got a sample of the HYPNôSE Drama. I've been wanting to try it by Lancôme. But I haven't, so I got a sample of it. So I was like, sweet. So I'm gonna try it. I've worn it once before, I think I did. And I don't think it flaked or anything on me, so. I am going to put on a little bit of the IT Cosmetics CC foundation, Celebration Illumination Foundation, whatever, in Fair, because I'm having shadows right there. Sometimes I'll use a corrector, but today I thought I could maybe get away with it. So I thought I could get away with it, but I can't. There we go. And that kind of helps with my under eye circles. Last but not least is lips. It's always like the last thing I use. And my favorite lip products are the SmashBox Always On Liquid Lipsticks. This one's in Dream Huge. I like Babe Alert, and I also like In Demand and Out Loud. I wear those all the time, like almost on a daily basis. Like, I switch between them. And I almost always top them off with the Dior Lip Maximizer in like the pinky shade. I really like that. It's like a lip plumper. It doesn't really plump your lips, but I really like the glossiness of it and the feel of it. The lip liner that I almost always use is the Exaggerate Full Color Lip Liner from Rimmel. And it's an East End Snob, or I'll use my Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk. Those two I bounce between. Right now my Charlotte Tilbury is getting quite low. So I've been using this one because it's cheaper, and for everyday use, why not use a cheaper one? So I do actually slightly overline my top lip. My bottom lip I don't really, but I do slightly do my top one. Let's see. Hopefully you guys, see the difference? Yeah. Oh no, it broke. Sometimes I will just fill my lips in with this, and this will be all that I wear. It lasts pretty good, and I do put a gloss over it typically because I do like gloss. Today, a lot of times if it's windy out like it is today, I will be all matte. And guys, I'm so sorry that I keep looking over here, down here. Like, it's so hard to get used to. I'm just trying to see if I'm in focus. Plus, for the most part, I've been using my the outward sweepy thingy, whatever it's called, the screen. I've been using that to apply my makeup instead of my mirror, because every time I try to get to my mirror, it's too far away, and yeah, so maybe if I move it closer, but see, then it puts that on my face, so that's one reason, but for lipstick, I'm moving it closer. It's just a really nice color. And I don't find that I have to go in multiple times with the Smashbox ones. So it's like one time and you're done. And then it dries matte. I typically, I go over, I know this is like a weird thing, but I'll go over my lipstick on the outer edges to soften the outer edges to make it, even though it's not like, it's kind of a natural color, but not really. I just think it makes it look, I don't know, in my head, being weird. But yeah, that is my finished, turn the mirror around, everyday look. Like I said in the beginning, it is very basic, it's very simple, but I wear it to work almost every day. Sometimes lashes, sometimes a little bit more glitz in the eyes, but this is pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for joining me. If you'd like, hit the subscribe button. Hopefully we'll be doing more videos soon, and thank you again. Bye.